We took so long to get here. I was wondering if anybody else wanted to join us, but apparently people get bored. The wins
People
are
they get nothing to say anymore. No one's got anything to say.
I'm wondering what was more boring, talking about beating on the team when they sucked, or trying to recap blowouts. Like,
we know that answer, John. It's always more boring when they win than it is when they lose.
But it's like, I swear, oh gosh, I swear this is like, I mean, it's better, it's more fun, and
More
everybody's
fun.
having a good time. And I hated it when they were losing, but like, I'm out of things to say. Like, this is like, they didn't even play well today. This was like, whatever. I mean, it was turnovers, some early in the shot clock, contested shots, and blah. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. They just drilled them. I mean, they drilled them.
It was,
again, Minnesota shot 50-something% from the field and lost. 53% field goal, and they lost by 22 points.
It was all in garbage time. From like the second quarter on was just garbage time. And like, I don't even know what matters in stats. I know. I honestly, I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here.
It's
I know they paid me the big bucks. I know they paid me the big bucks to tell everybody how we got there. I don't know how we got there. All I know is, again, like, if you tuned in a little bit late to this game, like, sorry, like, it was already over because it was like 20 plus points in the second quarter. And
not too long ago, the Sixers lost to the Suns.
Okay. So I was actually kind of poking around looking at right now is scores.
Does everybody know what that means? Everybody in the chat knows for sure.
It means the Celtics are in first place.
It means the Celtics are now first seed in the East.
In the Eastern Conference. And, like, those are words that I never thought I would say ever in my life about this team. The Celtics are in first place in the Eastern Conference. Even a week ago, we're like, first place probably isn't in play, but, they should be able to get home.
It just happened like that. It was like boom, 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 boom. And then they were like,
it was okay, like, the Heat hate each other. And it's like, here we go. Like, now all of a sudden, you're this team who is in everything's clicking. Everyone's like loves each other. At least that's how it appears. And I have no reason to think otherwise right now. And they're just playing, and they're playing like it. Like when you believe in each other and believe in yourselves and you're winning games, like that's just momentum that it's very, very difficult to stop. And when it happens at the perfect timing, leading right into the playoffs, why wouldn't you believe in this team? Why wouldn't you believe that this team belongs in first place in the Eastern Conference right now? Really, who's playing better than them? Why shouldn't they be in first place? Why shouldn't they finish the season in first place? There's no team right now that I'm like, well, they should probably be in first place over the Celtics.
It's crazy. Which is crazy. It's crazy because the story went from, okay, they're playing great, but they're beating chumps. All right, they're playing really well, but is it sustainable? Okay, this looks good. They might be able to get a whole first round series. They could get up to 4, even though probably not. Okay, fine. Looks like home court's going to happen, but first is ridiculous. And also, still, maybe around by the second round, you're not going to beat Milwaukee or Philly.
Yeah.
And now it's like
that's a successful season.
Yeah. If they get into the second round, that was a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And now it's like, now it's, last week it was, I don't know, maybe they could compete with these guys. I think they have a puncher's chance. Now it's like, book your friggin' tickets to the finals. Bring on Phoenix. It's not even close. It's not even close. These other teams look not just, I mean, I know the Celtics haven't played them, and we'll see what kind of lineup they have Wednesday against Miami when Miami comes in kind of stumbling. But like, Celtics have a full lineup Wednesday night. They go out and they drill Miami. Forget about it. Like, at this point, I just don't know if, and then you got another one at Milwaukee coming up. We'll see if that one matters and who's playing in that. But I mean, here's what we're looking at right now. Playoff picture, Boston, baby, number 1.
Let me take a peek at this. I gotta really analyze this for a second. Celtics are in the 1 seed, so they're looking at. Wait, I can't follow this, John. Can you spell this out for everybody watching?
Well, you don't know who the 8 seed is because you have the play-ins, but you're looking at Philly, Milwaukee's the 3, Miami the 2. That's just what you have right now.
Okay, I see. Okay, Charlotte, Atlanta. Okay, I was like that was confusing me for a second.
You play the lowest remaining seed from the play-in right now, whoever that's going to be. So
Miami gets kind of screwed if they end up with Brooklyn at 8, huh?
Yeah.
Man, that 1 seed all of a sudden is extremely important. I mean, listen, there's still time to go here, so who knows how it's going to shake out the next couple of weeks. But if that's how it goes right now, man, if Miami gets stuck with Brooklyn, that's the tough break, you know, and all of a sudden that one or two seed is hugely important. Not that it's never not important to be the 1 seed, but that Brooklyn team is just they're not your typical 8 seed, right? Or 7 seed, whatever they are. They theoretically should be much better than that. So that's an interesting one there. But yeah, that's your playoff picture right now. And the Celtics, nobody wants to play the Celtics. Crazy as it sounds, no team wants to play the Celtics. The way they play defense right now, who is looking forward to that matchup? Nobody. If they can continue the intensity on the defensive end, and like you said, they didn't even play that well tonight, and they still just cruise to victory. I mean, they just rip your heart out. You know, it's not even like a close, hard fought game. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna win by 20, and we're gonna go up by 20 in the second quarter, and we're just gonna keep it that way. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
I just can't. It's just, and what's funny is like the same feeling you had watching this team in the beginning of the season, which is like, bleh, like gross. Can't wait for them to blow it. This is just, here they go again. All of this awful stuff. And it just, it just felt like Groundhog Day. Now it's completely,
it's Groundhog Day, but a different time.
I'm stunned when they're in a game that's less than 20 at this point. Like, I'm stunned. Yeah, and what's amazing is like even when they do, there'd be an old version of the Celtics that get a double-digit lead, and the other team's coming back and possibly winning. Now, every time they do this, they get up 20-something, they let a team creep back. Minnesota hit all those threes. He didn't even call a timeout this time. He was like, figure it out. And they did. And then they're back up 24 and it's ball game. I mean, the arm's length the whole time. But between Utah and Minnesota, they never let these guys off the mat. As soon as they got the lead, with Utah, they did it in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Early in the first. In the second quarter, they race out to the lead, and that's it. They just kept them there the whole time. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It is. And I again, it's just hard to imagine being in this position. And credit to the players, I'm sure they believe in themselves in that sense. But I can't find anyone who truly thought that this would be a situation that they would be in. I mean, even anybody who was up on the team or not as down on the team as others were, I don't think anyone thought they would be talking about Eastern Conference, a number 1 seed going down the stretch here. So it truly is something, and maybe they'll finish in the 1 seed, maybe they won't. But either way, the fact that they're, as of today, have the 1 seed, it's baffling. But here we are. What's up, Sherrod?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We are perplexed. We're baffled. We're honestly like, we're embarrassed.
Explain this.
We're embarrassed for this, like how the Celtics are treating people. Like, it's disrespectful. They're being disrespectful right now. Like the alley-oop to Jaylen Brown was flat out disrespectful.
Yeah, unnecessary, rude.
Rude. Disrespectful. Okay, I mean,
but you know what? Here's the thing. If you're going to be disrespectful to any team, this is the team. The way that they treat LeBron, the way they've treated opponents when things are going well, Minnesota is like the low-key trolling, one of the best trolling teams out there. So they deserve this. They deserve everything they freaking got.
Cat.
But to your point, John, you're right. I mean, the Celtics they're not just beating teams. They're snatching your soul every single night. When you look at the way they're taking your best player and making him look like your 7th best player, when they're taking your bench and making them look pointless, they're making your coach look like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. They are taking everything that you value as a team away from you, and on the way out the door, taking your lunch money while they're at it.
Yeah. I did not want to make this.
You're left with nothing. Your pockets are empty the way they're leaving.
I didn't want to make this a Rob Williams panic show, but Udoka just addressed this. We were trying to figure out what was going on. Nobody saw anything. I saw him land a little weird one time and not feel great, but there was a theory going around that Celtics were kind of greasing the skids a little bit, setting up plausible excuses for leaving everybody in Boston and not going to Toronto for the back-to-back tomorrow, and this might have been a smoke screen with Rob, but Udoka just said something which doesn't make me feel great.
It's bad news. It's bad. Read it. Get it over with. Read it.
He was in quite a bit of pain. Too early to know if it's a long-term thing. I don't like that.
Oh, hot take, John. You don't like when
No, I
when
mean,
the player gets a diagnosis like a lot of pain.
obviously
It's
not, but like
horrible. We
I
just
don't
said
like
we just
I
said
don't
if
like two
one guy
things.
goes down, we're screwed.
I don't like two things. I don't like that they called it a sprain instantly instead of just whatever. They called it a sprain immediately and they ruled him out immediately. And then Udoka saying this right now is kind of
They're
too
getting that
honest.
scanned. They're getting it scanned, I guess.
Yeah, so it's a really honest early thing to say. And again, I hate saying this. I don't know. I mean, you were there, Sherrod. Can you pinpoint it? Do you remember where I saw him come down on a
I
rebound
don't.
one time? Okay. I saw one time he landed
I
on a
don't.
rebound and he just stopped a little and then jogged up
Yeah,
some. And
but that
I feel
wasn't the
like that
first
was a
time he's
normal
done that in a
thing.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's that. Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about, and it felt like it was a normal thing. But we all know that Rob's health has been great, knock on wood, this season, but it hasn't been that way
Man.
historically. And if you look at all the things that have been working for the Celtics, it almost felt as though things were going too perfect. Like everything was clicking. Your bench shots, Neesmith is hitting shots. He's pinning guys' shots on the glass. Tatum is dropping 25 in his sleep. You start going. You figure at some point between now and the playoffs, something was going to just either slow the momentum down a little bit. I think this is it. This is that speed bump in the road. I'm not all that concerned about it because I would much rather have something like this happen with 8-9 games left in the regular season than to
I know,
happen
but
game 2 of.
I know,
This
but
is
even
bad.
even
This
a
is bad.
even a medium grade MCL sprain cost Durant 6 weeks, Like I don't if it's a legit diagnosed like sprain of a ligament that's like significant, like I don't know how he doesn't miss a round of the playoffs or more, and that's bad.
All right,
Obviously.
easy.
Look,
Let's
that's
not
if it's
jump to
serious. I mean, you're getting a scan. If it's nothing, you're fine. I mean, obviously, I'm saying the range of possibilities, even with a
Yeah.
sprain, is not awesome. And that's if it's only a sprain, which would be great. But if it's more than that, I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for tomorrow. We're gonna have to wait for tomorrow and see what they find out. But I'll say
so
this:
we'll
he doesn't
see.
even know
Yeah.
how he doesn't even know how it happened. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, dude, like typically those non-contact type things are no bueno. So I'm not gonna jump to conclusions.
The one thing
So
go ahead, Jimmy. No, finish.
no, I was just gonna say I'm not
You're
gonna
not going
jump
to
to
jump to
conclusions,
but keep going.
but I will jump to conclusions. He's done for the year. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say that. No, we're gonna wait and see. I mean, what I'm nervous about is the same thing you guys everyone's nervous about. This team is not deep. They're one injury away from just being another team, and Rob Williams makes it all work on the defensive end. So tomorrow, all of a sudden, is going to be a very difficult game for them to win. It already was going to be difficult to begin with, going on the road in Toronto. But you're without your back end sort of, chess piece. Your chess piece back there. He's almost like the queen, of chess. I'm talking about. So, like that's tough. That's really tough. So. Yeah, fingers crossed. Everyone, this obviously.
Look, I got to address people in the chat. It's not negative. It's called concern. Everybody chill out. If he's fine, that's great. If he's not fine, that's bad. If you want to live in friggin' fantasy land and
Right.
like everything's going to be fine because I want it to, great, live there.
Yeah,
That's
go do
fine.
that.
We're all hoping Rob is okay. This is just concern. And the reason it's concern is it is late in the season, and anything that shelves him for any period of time could cost him critical games and could cost him playoff time. If he's back in a week, we'll pretend we never had this conversation.
Right.
It's not
Okay.
an issue. You move on, guys. But
Well,
like,
what are we supposed to say? Ime says he's in a lot of pain. He's not.
the
Going,
coach
he's
just
not
said
going
that
to
the
the
guy's
game,
in pain.
and he's getting a
Ugh.
scan tomorrow. Okay. Oh, everything's great. Big win today. Oh well.
Morons.
La-di-da. Yeah.
Morons.
I mean,
Anyway,
what the hell are we supposed to talk about? We're commenting on the
it's
news.
fine. We can
It's-
say with certainty Rob is fine. Everybody, he's fine. Move on. Next
Yeah,
topic.
hey, you know what? Thoughts and prayers to Rob. What do you guys want to talk about? Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Prayers up. Just prayers up, and we'll move on to the next topic.
Idiots.
I-
Anyway,
I
look,
love you guys.
it's more to the
Prayers up.
point.
Prayers
Yeah.
up.
It's more to the point, as Jimmy said, is the starting five plus Derrick White is so insanely good right now that it doesn't almost matter what else you do. You're getting contributions from Pritchard and Grant, and that's enough. That's literally all you need because they're so good. Someone on Twitter recently had done an add up of all of the metrics that you would use to rate players, and the Celtics' 6 best players, all the way down to Derrick White, were all within the top 42 in the NBA. Just in terms of how they're playing this year. That's how good they are. Then the drop off to the next couple guys, they were 250, overall players. It just shows like that gulf where if you lose one or two, there's a big drop there, and you're really kind of struggling to fill those gaps. So they can't lose anybody. If they have everybody right now, they're killing people. But being without one of the core 4 pieces right now would be really difficult for them.
It's huge. I mean, if you're going to miss even a quarter, let alone a game without him, it's a big deal. But the one thing I'll say about this team right now is that they are playing with what I would absolutely call a high level of irrational confidence. Because for you and me, and I think for most people, the idea of them not having Rob is a devastating blow to this already top-notch defense. To them, they see it as an opportunity to impact the game and to once again shut people up about how good they are, regardless of who's in and who's out of the lineup. But I'm going to tell you right now that the way that Rob is playing, it is so vital to everything they do. Because he's that free safety. He's that guy that when teams want to throw the ball downfield, he's breaking up passes, he's getting pick sixes, he's doing all those things that you absolutely cannot replace because you don't have anyone with that skill set. You look at it, and as much as Al Horford, again, love Al Horford, but he's not Rob. He doesn't do the things. There are things he can do better than Rob, but what this defense thrives off of, they don't have anyone that can replace that.
Yeah. The chat needs someone to hug them and tell them that everything's going to be all right now. Sherrod, are you going to be that guy? Give him a big hug.
Bring it in. Guys, we're sorry. John, I'll apologize for John. You guys aren't idiots. You guys aren't idiots. It's just,
1, 2, 3, you will do.
Everything's going to be all right, guys.
Right now. Everyone's fired up. There's a lot going on. Everyone, listen, we love the chat. But, yeah, sometimes things can get a little testy. We can talk about
this is the thing about
we can talk about what could happen, or we can just pretend nothing happened. Let's do the latter. Let's pretend nothing happened. Move on. Let's talk about Derrick White.
Let's ignore it. Don't look at your 401k right now. Don't look at anything. Just ignore it. It's all going to be okay.
But here's the one thing that, and again, if let's say they are without Rob, because I think we need to address that. It's reality. What they're doing now,
just careful how you do it.
Gives them the potential that if they are going to be fighting for a game or two or longer than that, they're at a stage now offensively where they can mask if there were some defensive deficiency better than they could a month ago. And that to me, if you're the Boston Celtics and you're a fan, that gives you confidence that even if he's out for a game or two, it's not like the entire world is going to fall apart. And you're all of a sudden going to go. And you're all of a sudden going to go back to being, like the New York Knicks or one of those teams at the back of the pack. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Trigger warning when you say New York Knicks.
Don't say that. But I mean, again,
I can't even talk.
And again, I don't understand. It's just there's a person on the planet that doesn't want to see something happen to Rob. It's this guy. So please be okay, Rob. Please don't do this to us.
We need Rob. Rob needs to be wheeled around everywhere. I don't want him putting any weight on that knee.
Bubble wrap, nothing. Somebody tweeted at me like I don't want him to do anything again until he's in negative pain. Okay,
right?
Like that's it. Like
it needs to be the best.
He needs to be 20% stronger than when he left. It's even to do whatever.
Right. It's tough because they are. Listen, if you're in play for the 1 seed, we were talking about maybe you rest some guys down the stretch. Not really anymore. I mean, you're playing for the 1 seed now. There's no time to be giving guys rest down the stretch. The goals have changed. The goals here have changed, right?
They have, but at what cost, right?
It doesn't matter, but I'm not even trying to be funny, but does it really matter if you get the 1 seed?
You're playing massive minutes with your guys right now.
I think it matters depending on. I mean, it's all matchup based, but I think
Right.
it matters.
But
I mean, I'm not saying.
you
I'm not
have-
saying.
but
Oh,
you
if you,
don't have
I'm
control
not
of the
saying it matters.
matchups.
I'm not saying it matters because like congratulations, you're the 1 seed. I'm saying it matters because if you think you're going to go deep into the playoffs, why wouldn't you want that advantage of home court and maybe possibly avoiding the Nets? Assuming the Nets are going to finish with the 8 seed. Like I think it matters for those reasons. I'm not thinking hang a banner for finishing 1 seed.
I would feel better about that whole 1 seed thing if you knew with certainty that Brooklyn was not going to be in the play-in format. Because right now they're still in that 7 through 10 range. If they had the
Right.
6th or 5th spot locked up, then absolutely go for that number 1 spot because that means you were not going to have to deal with them right out the gate. And again, it's not about being fearful of Brooklyn. It's about just being strategic and who you play when you play them. I'd much rather see them, if you're the Boston Celtics, play a series or two before you got to deal with them.
Yeah.
That 1 seed, it'll be cool to get, but I don't think you need to play your guys like 30,
I don't
35
either.
minutes down the stretch to get it.
Like
I'm
I said,
just saying, I
there's a
don't
one seed
think
if
you.
you guys
I
are-
don't think you bench guys. That's all. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying.
they're
I
just
don't think you sit guys.
I'd do some maintenance games. I think tomorrow's an automatic one, regardless of Rob being hurt, which obviously he's going to miss at least tomorrow. But like, I wouldn't play. I would do the wholesale. I know the NBA hates that stuff, but this is where, like, the reason I had Rob optimism on the injury thing was that thing we talked about offline, which was maybe they're just setting the stage for resting a few guys tomorrow, so they landed funny and they played up the injury to be able to have an excuse to sit him out. Before the game, they mentioned both Brown and Tatum had knee soreness and were probable, but that to me was kind of laying the foundation for maybe leaving them in Boston tomorrow. That's what I was kind of hoping with the Rob situation was, but I think they were laying the foundation for Tatum and Brown possibly for tomorrow, to talk about the knee stuff a little bit. So I think they have it in their mind to look for breaks, and not overdo it. I would not be stunned if they have half a team tomorrow.
Especially when you look at their schedule this week where they're playing every other day. So you want to, at this point, you're looking for ways to give your guys some rest. I mean, think about Marcus Smart. How different a player was he when he had all those days off and he came back? I mean, he's literally been one of the top 3, top 4 guys on his team ever since then, and not even close. You're hoping if you sit Rob for a game or two, if it comes to that, which I just can't.
No,
see
it
a
won't.
scenario
He's
where he'll
fine,
play someone.
Sherrod. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. We know this.
Hey, before the chat goes at John again, I just want to say, it doesn't look like Al's going on the trip, going to Toronto either, according to Ime. I guess he's dealing with some personal things, and he won't be going on the trip. So you're going to be without Al and Rob tomorrow.
Okay.
Daniel
Ime
Tice
also said, I guess Ime. Okay, so this is a tweet by Keith Smith. Ime Udoka on player availability if the Celtics have to play the Raptors in the playoffs. I know Canada has changed their rules, but if our guys are healthy, they're all available to play there. So
there you go.
That's as simple as it is. So if you're concerned of guys not being able to play due to COVID and all that stuff, then Ime saying that's not the case. So I don't know why Al, hopefully whatever Al's going through isn't too serious, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
So at this point, my thing is this, and I keep coming back to this because I think it's so important. I'm not all that concerned about what the hell happens between now and the next week, because this team is built right now, as they're constructed, to be a lethal postseason threat. And anything that I can do if I'm the coach to minimize the wear and tear on my guys at this point in the season, I'm going to do that. Because, again, you need this crew ready to rock and roll come playoff time. And if that means catching an L or two before that, so be it. It's that important because right now, if we're being honest and real about it, this team has a legitimate shot of getting to the finals, something that I did not think was the case a month ago. But they have a legitimate shot, but they need things to align a certain way for that to happen. And part of that alignment is making sure all their guys are healthy come playoff time, not come, that Friday night game in Indiana or Wednesday night game against the Miami Heat, but come playoff time. So that to me has to be where their heads are locked in and focused on at this point.
I'm just scanning for more Rob stuff. I think Udoka is going to give us all we're going to get on it.
Yeah, I don't think
he's giving us a hell of a lot more than most.
I'm surprised he said that much. I wish he said less. I really do.
John's like, damn it.
Why did you have to be that honest? You could have just said, "Oh, we'll see."
But you know what, John? You know what, John? This is the thing. I was thinking about this in the as talking. This is an opportunity for Ime to show a little bit of his coaching muscles as well. Because if he can, if there's a scenario where he's missing one or two of his bigs, and they're between now and the end of the regular season, and they're able to win 4, 5, 6 of these last games, the case for him as being coach of the year becomes so much stronger because there's no way that a team that is built the way they are, which I think is built for the playoffs, should be missing key guys and still finding ways to win because their schedule down the stretch is tough. I mean, they play one of the toughest schedules for the remainder of the season. I believe it's one of the 5 toughest schedules out there. So for them to find ways to succeed with key guys, actually, it's their 3rd toughest schedule. For them to find ways to keep winning, if they're going to be without key guys, kudos to them. Kudos to Ime.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the Ime thing, I agree with you 100%. He's it. Like, he's the coach of the year. It should have happened. But
he's coach of the year. He's getting it.
He should be, but just based off the chatter, he's just not considered a favorite. Like, you look at the top 5, 5 betting favorites, and he's not one of them, which blows my mind. So I don't get it all. I don't get it at all.
I'm surprised he's not in the top 5. But when you look at what Memphis coach is doing with one of the youngest teams in the NBA, and they're pretty much going to lock up that number 2 spot. You look at what Monty has done in Phoenix. And granted, Phoenix was already going to be a good team anyway. But the fact that you have been without the catalyst of that team, Chris Paul, for so long, and yet you're still winning, to the point where now Devin Booker is starting to kind of gain some traction as kind of a long shot / dark horse MVP candidate. Those are the 2 guys that I think have the strongest, arguments against Ime. But damn, I mean, Ime has had a great year, particularly how they've gone from where they were to where they are now. I mean, that stretch where they won 9 in a row, something that no rookie coach in the Celtics history had done since I think Casey Jones. So, and the way that he has helped transform Tatum and Brown and Al to be more of a catch and shoot guy, and Rob went from a guy jumping after every shot attempt to a guy that plays defense like a free safety.
To a guy who can't jump at all. Sorry.
Ever again.
The tragedy in it all.
It's like your child is sick and you want to know what this is going on. Like, I want the scan now. I want it now. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. I want it now.
You need the results right now.
Now.
I agree with you, Sherrod. There's a few good candidates. There's a few good candidates, but just because Ime isn't going to win doesn't mean that what he's done this year isn't extremely, impressive. And I'm sure locally, I think it's definitely more something. It's something that locally I think people see more than on the national scale. But certainly has taken a team and a roster that looked just down and out and flipped it, a 180. So credit to him. He'll finish with some votes, I'm sure, in some capacity.
Yeah,
but he's not going to win the whole thing, but that's okay. I mean, that's something to build off of, and next year he could easily be a favorite to win.
Well, the other thing too, that Coach of the Year award is almost like the kiss of death. When you think about the guys who win that award and what happens the year after or a couple years after, they're pretty much fired. Look at Tibbs.
How is everyone's mood not panicked right now?
John, you know what it is, John? You know what it is? It's the fact that they've been on such freaking good roll of late that it's like they see this as a speed bump. They see this as just this is what I'm talking when I talk
that
about
would be awesome. Please. Yes.
Yeah. John, this is a
I'm loving that. I'm loving that
control situation, John.
I love the fact that people are not ready to hit the panic button, as they should not be. I get
We're not gonna panic until we have a reason to panic. So right now,
and John is like,
John is slamming it wherever.
I'm not.
You are definitely slamming it, bro.
He's fighting it.
I'm a worrier. I'm a worrier. I'm a worrier.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna let the doctors tell us when to worry. That's what we're gonna do. So tonight, we'll talk about the win. Yeah, we have to acknowledge the injury tomorrow. Tomorrow night.
The chat's letting me panic. Chat's letting me panic for them right now. Is that what they said? That's fine.
Listen, John, tomorrow we'll probably get something.
I got my
So
mason
we'll
jar
save
of
the
moonshine
for tomorrow's show, because there's a game tomorrow night, and I think if the Celtics do lose that game, I don't know how much we can really.
Yes.
I don't know, really,
guys.
We're
in this together. We're all rooting for speed bump. We're all rooting for nothing. Okay, all of us.
Nothing.
Right. And Toronto, they're playing a Toronto team that is playing must-win basketball rest of the way, because they're trying to avoid that play-in scenario. Right now, they're 6th in the East, and I think they're like a game out of the 5th spot, but they're also a game from dropping to 7. So they're going to be playing all their main guy minutes. So that, again, beating Toronto tomorrow, even with they had all their guys healthy, would have been an impressive win, considering Toronto has so much more to gain. And should be playing with a greater sense of urgency than the Celtics.
Somebody in the message said WebMD says he's fine. Yeah, right. Do not go to WebMD. One bit of advice for everybody dealing with any sort of injury or anything. Like, do not go to WebMD, because you will leave that website assuming that you're gonna die tomorrow.
I googled knee sprain, great deal of pain. Came out with everything's fine.
Yeah. Knee sprain. Actually, what WebMD would say, possible amputation. If things don't get better anytime soon. That's not the website you want to go to diagnose anybody.
Right. Here's the thing. The best part about it is, why do we worry? Because we care. 25 games ago, 30 games ago, if we didn't care, I actually would have said injuries aren't that bad. Now we can blow it up. Like, we care.
Right.
It's in front of you right now, guys.
Right.
You're literally this
was the one thing that was gonna.
They're a championship contender. You don't want anything to derail it. You want them to get to the finish line in bubble wrap here and be okay. Like, that's why you just want it. You want to wake up and find out, hey, he's okay. Great deal of pain. Bad.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Please. Let's get
equals bad.
Right.
Maybe it's just knee pain. Maybe it's just knee pain. A little tweak. Maybe it's just a tweak.
Yeah.
Could be a little tweak, and he's back in a couple days. Maybe he skipped Wednesday's game.
It's so funny listening to Jimmy try to convince himself. You're so bad at it.
Just a little tweak. Everyone else playing basketball is, a little tweak of the ankle and the knee. It happens. You shake it off. Sleep, get a couple good nights.
Okay, now you're really trying to feed some bullshit when you talk about you playing basketball and your injuries, Jimmy.
Very similar to what I play. It's very, very similar. Me and Rob are basically the same body, and I can definitely understand what he's going through.
Now the fans they're really gonna freaking panic now, Jimmy. Now they're gonna panic. Shit.
Yeah. Trust me on this one, guys. Nothing to see here. Nothing to worry about. We're gonna wait for the results tomorrow.
Look, and it's the same thing. Here's a good thing. It's the same knee, right? It's the left knee. That's the one he's had the tendinopathy with, right? I believe.
This is the left knee that he has.
And I believe that's the one that he's had the on and off issues with. And if that's the case, and again, this could just be like, yeah, I'm cool. Little shooting pain for a second in that thing. Rest. He's had he had a stint earlier this year. He missed a couple. He's right back to it. I just didn't like that they called it a sprain right away. That's the thing that freaked me out, because they've been writing that tendinitis, but they've been riding the tendinitis thing the whole time, right? The tendinitis, the tendinopathy, all of that, which is, he has a little tendon inflammation there. And that's been what's kept him out. The couple of times, every time he's appeared back on an injury report, it's been with that. They immediately called it a sprain and then ruled him out, which, leads you to believe that something acute happened, and they said he's in a good deal of pain. So it just felt different than what he's been dealing with. If it's just a continuation of the same stuff he'd been dealing with, he just kind of felt a little funny, that would be ideal, I guess. But they called it a sprain so fast. That was the first thing that threw you, out with a left knee sprain,
people are
minutes
saying
after.
The other knee. People are saying
it's the other knee. Okay. It was minutes after. And that's what I was trying to look up. Is it the other knee? Other knee.
That's just what people are saying, so I'll believe the chat, even though that's probably dangerous. But
it's a little knee problem. Yeah.
So this isn't a Kemba Walker situation where you'd rather have him tear the ACL.
Yeah.
This is not that. We do not want that in this situation. Just a little knee pain.
Just a little knee pain.
That is bad.
No,
so how about Tatum tonight? Let's switch it up.
It's been right. It's right tendinopathy that he's had. So this is the opposite knee sprain. Different thing altogether. All right, whatever. Can't do anything but wait. Couple things from tonight's game definitely worth talking about. The Derrick White bounce back game. This might have been his best overall game since his first game. I mean, he's been good and he's done a lot of good things, but shots falling a little bit more. He was taking it to the basket. He's just doing all of the things that he does well. But this was an all in all good, really good Derrick White game.
This is his third straight game where he's scored at double figures for the Celtics, which is, again, they need that from him. When you talk about a bench where pretty much the only firepower you're going to get besides him is going to come from Peyton Pritchard. And for Derrick, having the ball in his hands as much as he does when he's on the floor, you want him to be impactful. Even though he had double-digit points, I think he also had like 4 or 5 assists too. And so that, when he's able to both get you buckets and get others involved offensively, that's all you want from him. And play defense the way he does more times than not. He's giving you exactly what you need right now to keep things afloat.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. Derrick White's, looking a lot more active out there, comfortable. He went through his slump, 4 for 6 tonight, had a couple of threes, and made some nice passes, I thought, in that second half.
Yeah.
He just kind of looked like Derrick White, looked like the guy that, we heard that the Celtics just traded for, So this is a good game, and him and Smart have a good little tandem out there when they're playing together. They're just like all over the place, and they just make it. I put myself in the other team's position. I just wouldn't want to play against those two guys, Smart and White. I just really? Like they're going to make it so damn hard for me.
You know what they do that's really good, and it doesn't necessarily show up in the stat sheet when it happens, is when the ball is thrown down to the post, those guys are really good at getting to the big man's blind spot so that when they look to make a move to where they think there's space, there's Marcus Smart, there's Derrick White. Right. Little things like that they're going to have to keep doing going forward because, again, it makes it extremely difficult for teams to get the ball on the block and make things happen. And because they're so quick at rotating out defensively, even when the big guy makes the pass out of that double team, they're rotating quick enough to where guys aren't getting open shots. And to me, that's the big difference between these guys now versus early in the year where the rotations just weren't as crisp and sharp as they needed to be in order to double team but not get burnt from the perimeter. So, and Derrick White, he's been, to your point, Jimmy, he's been a great complement out there with Marcus Smart defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's been great. Just another quick just looking back at the Rob stuff. Gary Washburn had tweeted he saw him going to the locker room with a slight limp after the third quarter. I don't know if you saw him walk off at all, Sherrod. Did you see that?
There was a slight limp, but again, it's so hard to tell just from an eye test standpoint whether it's serious or whether it's just a little pinch, little tweak. We're not going to have a feel for that until he gets those results.
Just trying to, because I still haven't seen a play. And again, I have one in my head where he just got a rebound and landed. But again, it looks like we've seen a couple times where sometimes he lands and he's like, and he kind of shakes it off.
Right.
And so that's why I didn't think twice. So I don't know if that was that. And I still haven't seen anybody kind of isolate a play where they think it happened. But yeah, just looking for any other
probably
info.
Did it to himself, just like being a crazy person. Maybe on the court somehow.
I don't know.
Typically how Neesmith hurts himself.
Neesmith landed on his neck at one point today. And he
but that's just another
right
day.
back.
Yeah, that's just called Sunday.
That's called.
He just happened to be in a game.
He does that on his way to get a glass of milk.
Yeah. Sundays are for falling on your neck. It's a casual Sunday stroll.
Yeah, I mean, outside of this stuff, and again, it's all we'll think about until you hear something tomorrow. But again, it's immediately ruled out. Ime saying things like he's not sure if it's long term, so it certainly feels like there's going to be at least a short term pain here. And scans and testing tomorrow to determine extent of severity. So again, we don't know. So we'll just kind of put a pin in it and wait to hear what tomorrow. Yeah.
Historically, the Celtics, I mean, Sherrod, you can back me up on this. Historically, the Celtics, I wouldn't say are the most truthful organization when it comes to injuries of the sorts.
But you know what, Jimmy?
Trying to figure out. Yeah.
You are, but Ime is a different kind of dude. And Ime has already kind of really opened it up to where this isn't just going to be something that, take a couple aspirin and we're good. It ain't that type of injury. So I anticipate that he will miss some time. I don't think it'll be long term. I think he'll miss at least 2, maybe 3 games. But if the big picture is to go deep into the playoffs, this is not going to crush you. It's not going to devastate you because
if it's
when you look at the schedule,
correct.
if it's right, I'm saying if it's short term. Now, obviously, long term, then you got to figure some shit out. You just have to. But I'm not gonna freak out about it because I just think that this team they've gone through too much and to have things go tremendously sideways for something like this. So I think they're gonna be all right.
We will see. He's got
I want to give John a big hug. That's what I want to give John a big hug right now because I think my teammate needs a hug.
I feel like one of my children's going under the knife tomorrow. It's like, oh God.
You're John, as the father, you're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to give them confidence.
I will.
It's going to be okay.
If Rob were right here, I would be strong for Rob. But then
Rob's going under the knife. John's banging on the window and like the operating room, like no.
Then we go in the other room, and I'm a nervous wreck, and I break down. That's what you do. But in front of them, you put up put up a front.
Right.
And until then, not. Other thoughts from today's game? Again, it's interesting, Sherrod. I know this is like small stuff, but we were talking about the swagger. Like, it's so interesting to me that, like, this will sound ridiculous, but I don't even feel like the Celtics played a great game. Like, they just kind of went out there and just whatever, and then just hit all the hit. They were sloppy with the ball. They took some ill-advised shots, and it didn't matter. And they're on another planet right now. It's like I said, we're kind of pinching ourselves. Like, you don't want to wake up from whatever this is because it's so hard. It's just so hard to fathom, from where they were earlier in the year that like they're so much better than all of these teams that they're playing right now that they don't even have to go in with an A effort and they're killing them.
And that's the scary part about what they're able to do at this point. I mean, it looks as if they're like a fighter who takes a couple of really hard punches to the jaw and looks over in his corner and says, "Oh, we got to end this now? Okay." And then they just beat the crap out of teams. I mean, D'Angelo Russell is a good player. He missed 5 out of 6 shots he took from the field. Karl-Anthony Towns is a legitimate all-star, one of the best centers in the game. He was a non-factor for most of the night. Anthony Edwards, former number 1 or number 2, top pick, he had a stretch where he was really, really good, but it lasted maybe 3-4 minutes. When you are, again, and I keep saying this, they are snatching souls every single game. At the hour of their choosing. They're not going to wait till the first, second. They're going to pick when they're ready to take your soul. They're going to take it, and they're not asking any questions. They're just going to take it. And there's nothing that teams have been able to do about it, which to me is mind-blowing because for the most part, this is the same team we saw back in November, December that just couldn't do anything consistently other than could be inconsistent. That was their consistency. That ain't the case now. They're on a different level than everyone they're playing right now. Everyone.
Completely. And like we were saying with Jimmy earlier, like you look around and you see other teams playing other teams, like fine, you haven't gotten to play some of these East competitors in a while. Obviously, last time you did, you played, you had the good game against Brooklyn, but they're not one of the top 4 seeds. You destroyed Philly, but it was without Harden. You still beat them by 48 points. Of course, you killed them, but you haven't played them recently to see how you stack up. But you're watching them play other teams you've played, and they're struggling and losing, and then you're beating these teams by 100 points. So like it's bananas. Again, this is a bummer. Again, I don't know if Rob makes a miraculous comeback and he's back on the court Wednesday. Great. Can't imagine it's going to happen that quick. I really was looking forward to the Miami game because you wanted to see if the Celtics go full lineup against this team, they beat them by 20 something points. You'd be like, forget about it. This thing's over. Like, because I guess Milwaukee would be the only unknown at this point, but you'd feel pretty confident against any team in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee, I think, at this point, looking like the toughest out. But like at this point, we've completely gone over to the other side, saying they should win these series, like, and they should win them comfortably the way that they're playing now versus how everyone else is playing.
Yeah,
I think
my biggest
Milwaukee.
concern. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I think they can. I mean, the way Tatum's playing defense and the way they have Rob playing now, I think you can do your best with Giannis, and if you can limit him and not let him drop 40 a game, and Middleton obviously is the Celtics killer. I'm not like super concerned about Milwaukee either. Just if they're going to continue to play the way they can. Now this all changes with if Rob's not 100% or whatever, but just the way that they're playing defense right now. If you put Tatum on Giannis, like I feel like that's different than past years, just the way he's playing defense.
Milwaukee to me is their biggest threat in the East. One, because they're defending champion. Two, they're one of the few teams that doesn't have that dominant center per se. So their success isn't predicated on just dumping the ball down low, which the Celtics want you to do that. Milwaukee relies heavily on ball movement. And if you're going to beat the Celtics, that's going to be the way you do it. You have elite ball movement because teams that like to have one or two guys ISO, we've seen what happens with that. They take that guy out. And when they take him out, it throws everything else the team's trying to do offensively out of sync. But if you are a team that relies heavily on ball movement, the way Milwaukee does, you become much tougher to lock in and just shut down. And that's why, again, to me, at this point, that's the one team, if I'm the Boston Celtics, I'm not afraid of them by any stretch of the imagination, but they're the team that I know going in will probably give us the most competition and be the biggest threat to us getting to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Because I ain't worried about Brooklyn. I mean, I just don't want to see them right out the gate. I would much rather see them a round or two into the playoffs. But right out the gate, no. You want to ease your way into it and just kind of build up the caliber opponent. And you're talking about playing probably a top 2 or 3 seed type team in the first round of the playoffs. And if you're the Boston Celtics, you don't need that. You don't want that problems. I think you'll win the series, but it'll be harder than it should be. That's my issue.
You don't want those problems at all.
No.
You know what else I'm bummed about? Let's go best case scenario. Rob misses a couple of games. They slow how he comes back. He's losing the defensive play, the all defensive and the defensive player of the year momentum, which is a bummer because momentum for all Celtics right now is if you're into this kind of stuff right now, Jaylen Brown does a post-game interview with Forsberg, who I didn't know they let go to games, but apparently he went to one tonight and he was there. He was doing the sideline stuff. Jaylen Brown, what does he say? He goes, Tatum MVP, Ime Coach of the Year, Marcus and Rob, first team all defense. Everybody is pushing for this now, because they're like, okay, we're the best team in the East now. We're killing people. It's time to start looking at the people here who are getting it done and give us our props. And so there was a lot of momentum, I feel, for Rob. You just had games against Gobert. You had this game against Cat where Cat didn't do anything. I know Rob didn't match up entirely against him, but you're just seeing what he's doing against other top competition on a large stage and watching the Celtics just destroy people and Rob just flying around doing everything. I thought the momentum was sky high for him to kind of, grab one of these things. And I don't know if it's,
I
don't know if that hurt. I don't know if that hurts him.
Yeah, I don't know if it hurts him either. But the thing about Rob is that, and this is how I feel. I think Rob has the best chance of getting that award for the guys on the team, but I think Marcus Smart deserves it because I think
I'm with you on that too. But
because so much of what Marcus Smart does defensively is not going to show up in a stat sheet. I mean, the way that he's able to force players to not even get the ball. And force teams to offensively go to their third and fourth option because their number one option can't get free of him. The way that he's able to force turnovers, whether he's not necessarily always getting a steal, but just forcing a bad pass because he's jumping a lane or he's blitzing a ball handler. Little things that he does like that are at the crux of this team defensively, and they're the best team defensively. And I don't think it's a coincidence that damn near anyone and everyone within this organization will tell you Marcus Smart is their best defensive player. And if that guy has that type of unanimous support on a team with a lot of good defenders, why are we having trouble having him in the conversation about defensive player of the year, particularly when he's the best player on the best team defensively? That by default should put you in the top 5.
I agree. Yeah, I would agree with you there. I mean, I'm glad that these guys are out in full force supporting one another. But, at the end of the day, I care more about, getting the job done. I don't really give a shit about
No,
who wins what. I hope these
But
guys
that's part
don't
of getting
care
the job
too
done,
much about
right?
it. No, I
Yeah,
know,
that's
but I
part
mean,
of
like
getting
we
the
know
right.
Tatum was pissed about not getting, all NBA last year. I don't want these guys,
He
I
should
don't
have been
want them to turn
pissed. He
into
should have.
yeah, because he lost out on a shitload of money. So I totally get that. But I'm just saying, like, it's great to go and it's great to be out in full support of your teammates, but just don't lose sight of the real task at hand here. So, but yeah, I mean,
I think
if Rob misses the rest of the regular season, yeah, John. I mean, obviously that's gonna freaking he's out of the picture now.
not going to happen, Jimmy. And I don't want
Not gonna
that.
happen. I
I don't
said
want that talk. I don't want that talk in this room.
if he did, if for some crazy 1 in a million chance that happened, yeah, that's gonna hurt his chances of winning any awards. But to Sherrod's point, Marcus Smart is probably. I think Marcus Smart's like the heartbeat of that offense, and I think Rob is like the brain behind it all, kind of thing. If that makes sense, or maybe it's reverse.
I think it's reversed.
It's reverse.
I think
Yeah,
I think
it's
I
reverse.
think I think Smart is the brains, and I
Smart's the
think Rob
brains.
is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
is like the maybe the heart. No, maybe not the heartbeat, but just the muscle that gets it done.
Yeah, I mean the point is they're a good tandem. Like they both make
They
it
do.
work. They're both doing different things out there, and they have different values to the team. But yeah, you're right. Marcus Smart is definitely the guy that kind of keeps it all going. Sort of thing. Rob,
Yeah,
Rob's like the bouncer. Rob's throwing people at the club.
Yeah, he
and
is.
Smart owns the
He
club.
is.
Club
Smart's the
defense.
owner. Yeah.
Yeah, club
Again,
defense. Exactly.
Again, I agree, Jimmy. And I just moved the conversation to that direction just because it's a byproduct of what happens, and I'm trying not to focus on. Again, it's just
John needs a hug so bad right now. I swear.
He does. Yeah.
Teammate.
He's got Sunday.
Rob.
John,
Not Rob.
you guys think you have Sunday scaries? John's got massive Sunday scaries right now. He won't be sleeping a wink tonight.
Not Rob.
Only thing John needs is the 60 seconds ticker.
Joe.
If the 60 seconds ticker came on right now, John would have a panic, a meltdown. That's like nothing gives you Sunday scaries more than that.
Say it ain't so, Joe. Not Rob.
Not Rob. Can't be
Anybody?
Rob.
Take my knee. I don't even need my knee. Take mine. Don't take Rob's.
Well, again, Rob's the sentimental thing for me, but again, it's
right.
This works because it's all working together,
Right.
And even, that being said, Al, what's funny is removing Al has been bad for this team. When he doesn't play, it's really noticeable. And I thought Cat was going to eat tonight. And especially in the beginning when he posted up Grant and he dunked a couple times. I was like, Cat's going to score. Celtics will win by 15 or 20, but Cat's going to score 70 points tonight. Like I thought he was just going to do whatever he wanted to do. And then it just stopped. And Tatum was there. Tatum was there bodying him, and Tatum did a friggin' good job, when he was in on him, and Rob was always lurking. So you knew that was there, kind of in the background. Really great job overall. And Cat's just been, body bagging people lately. And with Al out of the game, I thought that this was going to be a problem. And it wasn't. So it's possible they've evolved to the point where they are so good that they can get by for a little bit without one of their studs. But you just don't want to get into the playoffs with it. I think they can still win a good amount of the games here, and they can beat Miami. They can beat anybody without, missing just one player. But you definitely don't want to miss, if you just don't want it to be long term. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I'm not saying it.
Yeah, I thought this was a game where the value of having guys like Marcus Smart really stood out because there was little to no dribble penetration. So your bigs never had to really help out with beat off the dribble. So you could double team Cat. You could send help from somewhere and not worry about dribble penetration. And that's, that's why this team defensively is so damn good because they figure out different ways to shut you down. Sometimes they're snatching your soul by taking away your best player in the post. Sometimes they're snatching your soul by taking away any and all dribble penetration. They're figuring out what they have to do on the fly to just absolutely just completely overwhelm you and just basically beat the shit out of you. That's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. So again, we could keep on this game, but again, it's kind of more of the same. Brown was, I'll give you this because everyone, this will put people in a good
The Brownie
mood.
Award.
I'm giving Well, I'm not giving a Brownie award. I mean, should we give I don't know who to give the Brownie
No.
award to.
Derrick
What I will,
White.
Derek.
I would give it to Derrick White for sure tonight.
I thought. Listen, we haven't mentioned it. Tatum had a great night,
but I was going to start talking about Jaylen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
wait, who?
Yeah. You know why I'm doing it, Jimmy? Not because I want to, because I just need to get the chat back on my side.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's very smart. Very, very smart.
So this is just politics here.
And that was talking
this is the kissing babies portion of the program right here, folks.
I thought Jaylen was incredible. No, I'm not kidding. The thing I loved, he kept attacking the middle of the defense. And he was splitting defenders with a more controlled handle than he's shown earlier in the year. That's the type of stuff that he was turning over before. So he's keeping it a little bit closer. He's got it on a string, but he's going right into the teeth of the defense. And he made a couple really good decisions with the ball. But he attacked right into the teeth of their defense. Just over and over again. It was just really impressive seeing him do that. It looked more in control. It was really aggressive. He's just like starting to get those shades of like early last year Jaylen or best versions of Jaylen. It's all kind of happening. And then just like he's just taking those pull-up jumpers or their spot up threes and just off the release, you can tell him like that thing's not even going to nick the rim, and just splash.
Yeah.
So he just looks locked right now.
Yeah, my favorite stat of all the numbers he put up, because he had a lot of good ones, was the one turnover. That's it.
Oh.
One turn, 31 points. We know that he's got that in his wheelhouse every night.
Yeah.
The 10 rebounds, we know he can rebound really well for size. But the one turnover, to me, speaks how good a game he had, especially when you consider how he was scoring the ball. And again, as Jean attacking over and over and over again, and to do that and not lose his dribble, not get stripped. That was really impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah. He was I thought he was awesome tonight. Thought he was awesome.
This was all-star Jaylen tonight.
But this is kind of funny. I'm not raining on Jaylen Brown's parade. I thought he was awesome.
Oh boy, here comes Jimmy. Shit.
No, very interesting. I was just looking at the stats, the further stats. Jaylen Brown +6, Jason Tatum +34.
That happened the other night too. You know why? Because for some reason Tatum's got it rocking with that second quarter unit.
Yeah,
it's all based off of rotations. That second quarter unit, when he comes in there and it's with Grant and with Pritchard or whatever, they're just taking off, and they've been burying teams in that portion
lineup that stretches the lead.
They've done it a lot recently, because I remember I texted you last week and I was like, Tatum was +41 and Jaylen was +8. I was like, how is that possible? So I think that's a team stat. That's not an individual stat, just simply based off of who Jaylen, I'm not going to say get stuck with, but who Jaylen's playing alongside versus who Tatum's playing alongside at what parts of the game, and sometimes Jaylen's left totally on an island, when Tatum and others are resting.
Or he comes out of the game when the opponent puts in like their bench unit, so he doesn't have that opportunity to pick on the less talented players, if you will.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, he's playing well, and he's got that. You can see the fire in him too, the energy today. Like he went up for that. We talked about that rude alley-oop that he had.
Loved it.
Yeah. That was real nice. So
freaking dirty.
Yeah, I mean they're playing with the swagger, and we've been talking about it for a few weeks now. Tatum's got it, and it's definitely a contagious. It's contagious when you get that, get the little attitude going in your favor. Everyone sort of feeds off of it, and I think that's what you're seeing starting at the top there. So yeah, Brown's having a great run here.
I don't blame Jaylen Brown for anything. I think he's flawless, flawless player. Rob Williams is going to be just fine. Everything's going to be great.
Everything is awesome.
Everything's going to be awesome. That's the bummer. Everything's been awesome. You want to continue to believe that everything
will. You are my hero.
Yeah.
John posted that.
Yeah.
John controlling the comments post one of him being called the hero.
That was that was fine.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? It was a great. I I actually think they did play pretty well tonight. I mean, I know, John, you weren't super impressed, but
No. I'm not saying not impressed. I'm saying like they had 11 turn. Like if they played a clean game, they would have won this thing by 50. I mean, that's how. I mean, like they were sloppy with the ball, and they looked like they were. Again, it was another one of those games where they looked like they were playing with their food. Like they could have. If they really locked it in, could have won by a zillion, like,
but it's like
they played great.
It's just hard.
They shot 60%. I mean, they obviously they did that,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just hard to keep that, if you go up 25 points in the second quarter or whatever it is, it's like, it's hard to win by 50. It's hard to keep that same foot on the gas for the stretch of time, but you're right. I mean, there were points where they probably saw that they were up 30 and took a couple, maybe let the Timberwolves get a couple easy ones, but thank you, George. Appreciate that. But overall, I thought that again, they're led by Tatum and Brown. Those guys keep playing the way they are. I mean, another 30+ point performance from those two guys. Like, what else can you say? I mean, Tatum is firmly in that top 5 MVP category now, and
he should be.
Yeah, he should be. And I think it's. I mean, we all know that he's not going to win it, but again, it goes back to the Ime thing. The fact that he's getting the consideration, the fact that he's going to get his name up there, and that he's going to get some publicity and votes from it. That's a great thing, especially when you consider how this season started, for Tatum to get that, because these guys do care about that. Like, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They should care about that. Like, Tatum was super bummed that he didn't get the recognition that he felt he deserved last year, and this year it feels like he is going to get it, and I think that's going to be good for. That's going to be big for him. And it's only going to be a good thing.
This is a good point someone made. Like, the Tatum stuff is hard to unsee the beginning of the year because he wasn't just erratic. He actually had 15 or so awful games,
horrible shooting games,
awful games where the effort and the shooting would translate to bad defense. And again, that was part of the problem. The game wasn't flowing through the stars because they were kind of getting down on their own performances, and they weren't playing well, and it wasn't translating over to the defensive side. They weren't shooting well, and it was just endemic. Everybody kind of caught a piece of it, and they couldn't recover from it. And especially late in games when those guys were pressing and trying to do too much, and it just wasn't working. So that stuff happened. Like, if you picked up the rest of the season right now, if you just, and again, Sherrod always talks about the recency bias. If you only looked at the last 30, 40 games, Tatum is the MVP. It's not even it's not even a question. It's just hard to undo all of that stuff because, again,
you can't undo it.
The top three guys, the consensus top 3 with blips along the way have been doing it all year for their teams.
Stretches, not long stretches where we were literally like, is this guy broken? Like, I think we could probably find a show where
Tatum was broken.
Is he ever going to get it back? Like,
Tatum was broken for like 45 games, shooting way below his averages.
We were like, this guy might not ever be as good as he once. Like we're, right now looking back on it, you'd laugh, but at the time, there was cause for concern. These were some really, really, really tough shooting games, and he just looked like completely off. Now, we know it was,
and it affected everything, and he was trying hard to shoot through it, which was making matters worse. So he was
getting frustrated, and it was showing on the defensive end, and he was arguing, with
but
the leadership wasn't quite there. So
that's how good he is, though. Right now, that's how good he's been. He's now at this point, I think he's firmly in the top 5. He might finish as high as 4th.
Well, he's making a case for how valuable he is. I mean, look at the way the Celtics have played since he's started to turn around. And I'm not saying it's just him. It's obviously been a team effort, especially on the defensive end, but he is the leader of the team, and he's playing out of his mind right now, and the Celtics are now arguably the best team in the Eastern Conference. So all those things equal valuable. So if you want to make a case for what does valuable mean, and I know it's a term that people always have a little bit definition of why you're voting for a certain player, you can definitely make that case. It just goes back to what that comment said and what you guys just talked about. You got to do it for a longer period of time. You got to do it for the majority of the season, or a lot earlier to start the season.
Yeah.
So,
but he's there. I think he's no worse than second team All NBA. So I mean,
now because didn't they announce that basically Embiid and Jokic are going to be in first team now?
Somebody had tweeted that we were talking about it, that Embiid and Jokic could be eligible at center and forward, and if that happens, and you take Giannis as well, it'll be hard for Tatum to crack that first team, unless they just go best 5 and then forget about guards and just do Luka and Tatum and call it a day, which you could at that point. That's fine. You could theoretically do that, but if you go with 2 guards, you might be going Ja. But then again, Morant is hurt, so I don't know. Steph is obviously in the conversation, but who knows? Anyway,
Devin Booker.
we got another
Yeah.
Booker's again,
Mitchell.
as you said, Booker shot in there. So he's there too. But anyway, we got another one tomorrow. We've got Rob results, so we'll figure out what happens there and what kind of mood. I'm calling it now. I'm off the show if Rob's out for a long period of time. So you guys will have to carry it.
Oh boy.
You don't mean that. You'll be on the show tomorrow. You will be
He'll
on the
be
show
back.
tomorrow. It will
He'll
be
be
good
back.
news, John. John, positive vibes only, please. We get some
Exactly.
positive vibes.
Positive
You know,
vibes. If anybody
Little
joining
bump,
now,
little bruise, little bone bruise, maybe.
I see in the chat people looking for an update. We don't have one other than what the Celtics said. Scans tomorrow. Udoka said he's in a fair amount of pain. They don't know exactly what
He's
happened.
not going to play tomorrow.
It's his left knee. He's out for tomorrow. He's getting scans in Boston, not traveling to Toronto. Horford also not traveling to Toronto. So then we'll see. And whatever happens, happens. And
He's
no,
probably out
George,
Wednesday.
I won't overreact if we find out Rob is hurt tomorrow. I will react.
Properly react.
Appropriately.
Appropriate.
It's
The
no longer
appropriate
an over.
reaction.
If we find out he's out for a long period of time tomorrow, that's no longer an overreaction. Okay, we can call it an overreaction now if he ends up being fine and playing on Wednesday, and that's fine.
Yes.
How about this? My first apology cam ever comes if Rob plays on Wednesday. I'll
I like that.
apologize
I
for
don't
getting.
think he's playing.
I will
Wednesday, though.
apologize for getting you all worried. That's what I will apologize
That's
for.
a fair apology. What
I
about
will.
Friday? What if he plays Friday? I think that's still apology cam worthy.
We'll play it game by game. Again,
I think Friday's apology cam worthy. Based
I'm not
on
saying
your
I think
reaction.
he's hurt. I don't like what Ime said. Ime worried me, and then I worried everyone else. I don't like what Ime said at all. I wish he said something different. But as Sherrod said, he's honest. You know?
Take it when we can get it.
Exactly. No, it's true. I mean, after what we went through with like a year and a half's worth of Kevin Garnett's not even really hurt, and like look over there, and like these aren't the droids you're looking for, and all of this misdirection. Yeah, we'll take it. So
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Probably fine.
I'm scarred from those years of the KG injuries news that we never knew what to believe.
yeah,
don't believe anything now.
exactly. So there it is.
Hey, Celtics are the 1 seed tonight, folks. There's a reason to feel good about that. And fingers crossed, prayers up, as we say, hashtag T's and P's to Rob Williams. And tomorrow we will see, we'll have some more answers. But tonight, the Celtics go to bed as the top seed in the Eastern Conference, which is something
drinks are on me.
none of us thought we were going to be saying this season. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Drinks are on me if Rob is back on Wednesday. All right.
Drinks are on you. We're gonna we'll do a Garden Report meetup strictly so that you can buy everybody drinks for this scare that you put in everybody.
We ran the polls, by the way, tonight. We'll get our final 4 tomorrow. I know that Marcus Smart telling Sherrod to go stick it made the finals. I don't know if we have any others. Ahmed, anyone else make it?
What? I missed that. What are you
The
saying?
the final 4 poll of the Garden
final
Report.
4.
We've been running it in the chat, so it's been going on there.
What do we got? Can you announce to the people who are just listening?
It
what
might
the
be.
Final Four is?
I think the voting is still open on Twitter, so we don't have it yet, but it's we'll have it for tomorrow.
So we don't have the Final Four yet. We're
in the Elite Eight. We're in the
Gotcha,
Elite Eight. It looks like one of them has a
commanding lead.
Phenomenal is basically a lock right now.
Phenomenal has been running through this bracket. I find it hard to believe
they look like Duke.
Lose.
Phenomenal has been the Duke of this bracket.
Duke, man, watching Coach K cut the net down yesterday. I don't know how you guys felt about that. Some people
phenomenal.
like it. Some people don't want to see it.
Phenomenal is a lock.
It's a phenomenal run. It's been going on.
Everything is phenomenal. So again, thanks guys. Last thing I'll tell you, join our Discord chat if you haven't already. It is on the screen. Is it on the screen? There it is. CLNSmedia.com/Discord. Head on over there. I think Brockton makes it too. Brockton was a mortal lock too.
Brockton's one of the mainstay. Like if you know, like that's probably the most common.
That's Kansas. That's Kansas.
Yeah. It is Kansas, but if it is Kansas, then that means Brockton's going to lose. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Kansas.
That's just Kansas.
So
that's
Kansas, join us over there. I'm gonna hop on right now, and you guys can all tell me that I'm a friggin' worrying ninny and whatever you want to say to me, and that's fine, and I'll take it. But I'm going over right now to chat on
I might
Discord,
pop on too. Why not?
and we can talk Rob, we can talk whatever it is. Right now, what's tight, Amit? Which one is it? Jimmy? What is Jimmy versus Calm? What does that mean? Oh, Jimmy's fart and Calm are locked in a battle.
Those are both mine. I don't know. I'm torn on that one. I'm partial to Calm because the fart should be in quotation marks. Everybody knows that. That was the chair. I stand by that.
That's the tight
I
one.
could probably recreate it right now by moving around in my chair. I won't because I don't want to deal with the backlash.
The fart. I'm surprised it's made it this far.
Phenomenal Marcus Brockton, and right now it looks like Jimmy's fart versus.
I wish Calm was actually sponsoring this show. Nobody needs Calm more than John right now. We usually don't do free ads, but calm.com/garden, if that was still available to everybody, I think John should be hammering that promo code tonight.
I'm gonna take
just a
something,
little rain or something like that.
I'll take something that'll make me calm.
Pause.
Just walk away, Jimmy. Just walk away.
Don't worry. I'll be calm later. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I'm sorry I called you all idiots. But I'm also
morons. Morons. I think there were morons at one point too.
You did say that. You said a lot of hurtful things.
I was like, damn, John. My teammate needs a hug, y'all. Give my teammate a hug, please.
John needs a drink.
Whatever it is, he needs to get calm. Go get it. Get him.
Okay.
Calm. That's calm.com, everybody. Calm, all right?
That's all right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, all right?